recent figures indicate 85% of families are chronically sleep deprived. Increased sick leave comes from that. Also low energy at work, impaired judgment, poor focus, affecting productivity, morale in the workplace, and even at its worst, there can be accidents in the workplace as well. Deb Herdman is from Nigh, Sleepyhead, and joins us now. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm very well.
Did you get much sleep last night?
I had a good sleep. Yes, I did. Thank you.
Very good, very good. More alert than I am, no doubt. This is a huge problem, not just for families, of course, but for most workers who obviously have a lot to do and have a lot to think about, and trying to get a good night's sleep, so important for us, but often so elusive.
Well, you know, Aaron, the world is in a sleep crisis, so put a baby into that scheme, into that picture, and it just makes everything so much worse.
It's funny how we now live in a time where something as human as having a baby feels so inhumane for those people who have to work, which of course is all of us, right?
Yes, that's right. I speak to so many parents, and the sleep deprivation is amazing. What they put up with and how they manage careers just amazes me, really.
What do you see? Talk to us about the sorts of issues that you've actually been confronted with.
Sure. Well, actually, recently, Aaron, I spoke with a professional couple that had the only way they could manage was to have a shift overnight. So the mum dealt with the toddler from bedtime to 2 a.m, and if the toddler was still awake, she went straight to bed. Her shift was over. She woke up the dad, and then it was his turn till morning.
And then dad goes to work, or mum goes to work. They both went to work. Then off we go. So you've got workplaces being less safe. Some statistics, 36% more likely to have a near miss at work, 26% more likely to have a near miss on the road, no doubt on their way to work, on their way home from work as well. At a time where we've introduced workplace manslaughter laws here in Victoria just over the past week as well, we often forget about the other side, which can be the employee who is sleep deprived or have many things going on from the family space as well that can really affect their judgment and affect their alertness at work too.
Yes, and not only alertness and your judgment, your concentration's really non-existent at times. Energy levels so low, but it also affects the way you are physically.
Yeah.
So sleep deprivation very much can cause weight gain, and if you're in a position or have a position where your appearance is important to you, that could be very problematic for your career.
Yes, welcome to my world. So let's also talk about the fact that some parents turn to alcohol as well, or others to drugs, but many to alcohol to try and deal with that, to try and get that afternoon sleep in, to try and find a way to even perhaps relax themselves before bedtime in the hope that they'll be able to sleep a bit through, which, as you say, is great until your shift starts at 2 a.m.
Yes, well, alcohol is never recommended as a cure or something to put you to sleep, because it actually affects your sleep mechanisms overnight, so you are more likely to actually wake up and not sleep as well. But some of the other things that parents will do is, of course, drugs. That could be a thing that you might do. But from a dad's perspective, some dads actually handle sleep deprivation, and particularly if they're suffering from high anxiety, and
which leads to mental health issues as well, right? So if you're someone who's struggling to sleep, if you're someone who is really struggling in the workplace, you start to feel crushed from both ends. Crushed from the fact that your boss probably has noticed that you're not as you used to be. Your colleagues are feeling a little bit frustrated with you as well. You go home and your family's frustrated that you weren't there during the day. Over time, that can lead to somewhat of a mental health crisis.
Absolutely. What we see with dads is quite a different picture to what happens with mothers that are suffering from mental health, from lack of sleep. Dads are more likely to not want to go home, which then puts the stress on mothers. You know, why isn't he coming home? They are more inclined to do things like they might go to the gym, and although they're thinking they're doing a great thing, it's actually a way of having an excuse of not going home because they just can't cope.
Or the pub.
The pub, absolutely.
Always the pub, seems to be the case. You're opening a music therapy program for kids as well. Talk to us about that.
I am, Aaron. I've been using music therapy for 7 years. That I developed because my son, my third child, was a problem sleeper, and I just thought there had to be a better way than using some of the systems that we see in place at many sleep schools, which is controlled crying or crying it out, or some of those methods that mothers really don't want to go to these days. I think dads, they really want sleep, but mothers are the ones that control what goes on in the world of sleep. So I developed a music system and play system that worked with my youngest and have taken it globally now.
Wow.
And just
talk to us about that. What was that experience like?
That was amazing. I've had situations where I really didn't think it could be used in situations like for paramedics, we'll use the music at the roadside or wherever there's a crisis to help calm down children.
That's a great idea, of course.
It is. It's just, music is such a powerful resource. It's undervalued, really.
It affects mood, doesn't it? I remember doing media studies at school, and we would watch a film, and the media teacher would say, name the number one thing that affects the mood. And some would say lighting, some would say the actors or direction, but the answer was always the music.
Yeah.
It's the music behind that can turn a thriller into a comedy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Music is such a powerful resource.
Yes.
So hence I've decided to open a baby sleep school where parents, that, particularly career parents that don't want to go down the line of doing controlled crying and they're chronically sleep deprived, they can come to me and we can sort their issues out gently.
What sort of music?
I actually compose the music. So I have a nursing background but compose the music. And it's very different to anything else that's out there. It's lullaby and instrumental. And both things do amazing things to your brain.
Amazing. Well done. Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate hearing the story.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.